there's a new kid on the block. Let's try a new sunscreen. You've probably heard of or tried the Beauty of Joseon Relief Sun Rice and Probiotics Sunscreen. There's a new kid on the block. This is the brand new Relief Sun Aqua-Fresh Rice and B5 Sunscreen. What are the differences between the two? The original has rice extracts and probiotics. It's a very hydrating, radiant sunscreen. The new one has rice water and panthenol. It's supposed to be more lightweight than the original. It has a semi-matte finish and it's recommended for oily skin types. I'm gonna blend it out on my hand first to see what it looks like. It definitely feels more lightweight than the original. As always, I'm doing 2 finger lengths of sunscreen. It definitely does feel a little bit different on application to the original. Just like the original, it's super easy to blend in. No white cast. It feels hydrating, but I can definitely feel that there's a little bit more of a matte finish to it. Having a sunscreen be super matte on my skin is something that's really difficult to achieve because I do use a lot of other skincare before I put my sunscreen on that is really glowy. So it's really hard to find something that's going to completely mattify that down, but this isn't adding any more glowiness than I already started with. It feels really nice. I feel like it kind of feels similar to the Purito Daily Soft Touch, I think it's called, the orange one. It has a similar type of finish. You know the drill. I'm going to take this with me, reapply throughout the day. Sometimes reapplication is where things get a little bit tricky. When you add the second and third layer, it starts to feel a little bit thick. It can feel uncomfortable or it gets sticky. So let's see how this one holds up. Update time. As I always do in all my sunscreen test videos, I took this with me. I reapplied it twice. In total, I applied it 3 times. This reapplied so easily, no problem at all. This actually did have a semi-matte finish on my skin. That's usually pretty hard to achieve because I do use a lot of really hydrating, glowy products before I put on my sunscreen. After about maybe 15 minutes of putting this on, I did notice that my skin had a more matte finish than it usually does. You can still see some radiance in my skin because that is how my skin naturally is, but I do feel like it took down the shininess just a notch. One of the reasons why I usually don't like matte or semi-matte sunscreens is because they can feel a little bit drying or tight on the skin. This one didn't feel drying at all. It still had a nice amount of hydration. The finish just wasn't as glowy as it usually is. In all honesty, since I've been testing out different sunscreens, I have found a couple of sunscreens that don't have a super glowy finish that I really like. This is going to be one of them because I really like how it felt. I liked how it applied, and even though it was a matte finish, the layers didn't start to build up and feel tight and uncomfortable, and I really appreciate that. Number one, it felt comfortable, no eye burn, no white cast, no pilling. If you've tried this sunscreen and you think it's too glowy or you have oily skin, you might prefer this one. It is a lighter texture. It is still hydrating. It has a semi-matte finish. I honestly feel like the texture feels similar, but when you put it on your skin, it feels a little bit different. This one is just a little bit more lightweight. I have oily, dehydrated skin, so it's a bit of a combination of dryness and overproduction of oil. This sunscreen actually worked really well for my skin, so I'm gonna put this in my yes pile, which is not easy for me to do for a sunscreen that is not super glowy, but I like it. I'm trying to be open to different sunscreens and not just pick things that I usually like because there's a lot of other great products out there. This is one of the reasons why I decided to do my whole sunscreen search. When I usually look for skincare products, I stick to my comfort zone. I stick to things that I like, and sometimes that's to my own detriment because I end up not trying products that are really, really great. This is a sunscreen that I likely would have never tried because it has a semi-matte finish. I tried it and I really like it.